Hi everybody, Anthony Fantano here. It's time for a weekly track roundup, where I give my thoughts on the most major songs, in my opinion, to drop over the past week. Feeling bright, smooth-faced. I'm happy. I'm in a good mood, so let's just do it. All the songs linked down below, like usual. You might enjoy them me, so check them out for yourselves. Also down below, our Turntable Lab link. We get kickback from that, so use it. Also, our Patreon page. Hit that up. Get some extra bonus monthly content while supporting the channel that you love in the process. And our newsletter, our weekly newsletter, sign up link down below. Don't miss a single piece of content. We pack it with everything major that we do throughout the week. YouTube doesn't always deliver in the subscription box like they should, so check out that newsletter. And finally, shout out to our sponsor, as usual, good people over at The Ridge, still making these amazing metal-plated minimalist wallets, 40,000 positive reviews, rugged and tough. They sent me a whole box of like the new stuff that they're doing. They had to send me the new designs, the new everythings, and look at this one. This one's all like scuffed up in metal. Industrial vibes on this one. It's a tough boy. This one's a tough boy. Check out that link down below. Fits up to a dozen cards. And again, these things are tough as a mother. And you get 10% off if you use promo code MELON. Promo code MELON on that bitch. All right, worst tracks of the week. We have a handful. We have a few, beginning with this new one from Party Next Door featuring Travis Scott. It is titled Just Know, and it is bland, directionless, and utterly forgettable. Don't really see the point of this one, truly and honestly. Beat goes absolutely nowhere. Vocals don't really seem to know what they're doing, and the amount of reverb on this thing really reflects that. It's like the reverb is trying to make up for the lack of an overall song. Then from there, we have a new one from Pale Waves, record Who Am I on the way. The track that I want to point out over here is You Don't Own Me, and it basically sounds like a really mediocre pop rock tune that's a little melancholy from some kind of like 2000s era teen flick. It's not very great in my opinion, though I guess they adhere to that style pretty faithfully. We also have a new one from Chevelle. Yes, the band Chevelle, alt metal and alt rock band Chevelle, still at it. And for some reason on this new track over here, Peach, they sound exactly like Tool, circa the mid to late 1990s. I don't know why, but like a much worse version, of course. Don't see the point of this. Please spare me. All right, meh. The meh section. The tracks I didn't go crazy about, but again, you might like them more than me. Let's go through these. They're linked down below. Once again, we have a new one from Sheck Wes, also Young Stoner Life. Yak Gotti is on this track as well, and Young Kayo is featured on it. It's GFU. It's a really aggressive, just drugged out of your mind banger, high energy, but very little structure, not really compelling verses throughout the entire thing. Begins strong, but then gets stale, and the track's not even that long, so it really wears out its welcome pretty quickly, in my opinion. All right, a new one from FKA Twigs with Heady One on it, who I think delivers a really emotional, compelling verse on it. I think the track is maybe too skeletal and chirpy in the first leg, but I love the way it fills out in the second half. It's got potential. I like where Twigs is moving artistically on a conceptual level as of late. Is she always nailing it? Not necessarily in my opinion, but she's certainly changing it up and not trying to repeat the same formulas twice. All right, a new one from Serpent with Feet, Fellowship. While I'm not absolutely nuts about the tune on this one, I do love the sentiment of this track. A song about kinship, friendship, just people who are close to you, just being the light of your life, adding positive vibes, and just spending good times with them. It's a beautiful sentiment. Give it a listen. New one from SEBii. Sounds like a combination of a trap banger. It's a little glitchy. It's a little hyper pop. It's I suppose it's a little, I suppose psych trap as well. It's kind of all over the place. It's very Zoomer, big Zoomer energy on this one. It's short, it's nutty, it's catchy. Give it a listen. It's absolutely nuts. And the name of this one over here is BAFFLEdd. All right, Rebecca Black, Girlfriend. It's over here. Yeah, excuse me. I just saw a text over here. It distracted me. New single from the one, the only. Full review of this over on the Fantano channel. That is linked down below. Give it a shot. A pretty straightforward pop track. The hook goes. The sentiment is absolutely cute. Some elements of the verses and the instrumental I found to be a little bland, but I think Rebecca creatively is really moving in the right direction with some of this new material. Hopefully what she dishes out in the future ends up a little bolder in its final state. We also have a new one from, of course, Guapdad 4000 with Lil Ricefield and Seiji Oda, Anime Shouty Volume 2. It's zany. It kind of bangs, but I think it sort of wears out its welcome after a while. Tongue-in-cheek and funny, though, but it could be catchier and less of just a meme. We have a new one from King Gizzard 1. They're doing that psychedelic desert microtonal thing once again, and it's not bad. It's not bad for what it is. I think it goes harder than some of the tracks off of their last record where they went in that direction. But God, do I think they need to change it up when it comes to trying to do the microtonal thing. New one from Fredo. Which is a pretty interesting crossover over here because Dave, or Santan Dave, is featured on the track. It's pretty forlorn. It's a moving track. Not exactly like one of the best hip hop songs I've heard of the week, but I certainly see the appeal. I see the hype behind it for sure, for sure. All right, Chelsea Wolfe, Ruth Rundle, Anhedonia. And it's a very forlorn, spacious, skeletal, acoustic ballad with lots of moaning vocals. It is dreary, or rather despondent. If that's your that's your vibe, give it a listen. All right, and one from Baby No Money with Diamond Pistols. Baby No Money sees himself moving in, I guess, a bit of a breezy, sad indie pop direction on this one. And honestly, while this style isn't personally my vibe, he does this sound quite a bit of justice. I would say he sounds at least as good as many other bands or bedroom producers doing this exact thing. So why not? It's not bad. It's not that bad. All right, the best tracks of the week, in my opinion, the ones that really stood out to me. I actually have quite a few. Quite a few to go over. They're all linked down below once again, so let's go. Boop, 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 boop. A new one from Xiu Xiu with none other than Grouper, guesting on the vocals, Liz Harris on this one. And apparently this is the first drop from an upcoming record where it's just going to be nothing but duets, nothing but vocal guests on the songs. And I thought, given the Liz Harris inclusion, and also just it being Xiu Xiu, that this track would be way more unconventional, but it actually sounds like a really straightforward, like almost alt country, indie rock, folk-ish tune with a lot of frickin' reverb and some slightly left field vocals. The tune is catchy as hell, though, and while it does sound weird, I wouldn't really expect anything less from Xiu Xiu. I'm kind of digging it. All right, a new one from Squid over here. Narrator is the title, and Lord, this thing is a massive 8-minute experimental rock post-punk monster with passages that sound like Radiohead and even maybe Swans to a degree. It's nuts. It's insane. I feel like how good this track is and how good the band's material up until this point has been, this really could be like post-punk record of the year. Watch out. Rest in peace to SOPHIE. I mean, I feel like that's all you can say. I mean, devastating, tragic, painfully sad, especially given the talent, the game-changing talent. I mean, in many respects, SOPHIE changed things quite rapidly. From PC music to solo stuff, and over this weekend too, we got what sounded essentially like almost like a single-wise, like a leftover from the Product era, UNISIL, and it's fantastic. It's an amazing single. Like, it's glitchy, it bangs, the textures are incredible. Again, just the loss of talent, the loss of life is so deeply tragic, and I don't really know if I could say anything else beyond that. I'm just depressed about it, frankly. There's also a new one from Porter Robinson, which is not too bad. Look at the Sky. It's got a bit of a cheery, bright, melodic, progressive house vibe to it almost. Liked it a lot more than I thought I would. Max B, New York legend Max B, has a really grimy new single out with none other than Gigs, which is pretty interesting. Aesthetically, it sounds kind of like an old 2000s bling era, like, you know, New York underground mixtape type banger, and I think it's quite good, and I think Gigs brings you know, a lot of attitude to the track too. Mario Judah, It's Time to Rock. Tess X, I think, does a great job on the track. The energy on the song vocally is quite high. Sure, the lyrics could have changed up a little bit, but I think Mario is moving in the right direction on some of this new stuff. We also have Kyary Pamyu, Gum Gum Girl, J-pop banger on this one. Very quirky instrumentation, infectious lead vocals. Love it, love it, love it. Really kind of feels like she's back in the saddle on this new one. And the Koreatown Oddity, this track Breastmilk, which is absolutely absurd, hilarious, lyrically focused, creatively produced. Expect nothing less from the Koreatown Oddity. And while maybe the title of the song catches you as being so silly, it couldn't possibly be about what it's titled after. It is. Give it a listen. You'll be surprised. And JPEGMAFIA has a new one out, Fix Yourself, which he really showcases how much better he's getting at songwriting, melodic lead vocals, writing songs that structurally are a lot more fluid. I'm loving this one quite a bit. I think Peggy is actually killing it on this one single-wise, and looking forward to the new album this year if there's going to be one. Chad VanGaalen drops an amazing new quirky tune over here, Samurai Sword, creative lyrically, very textured and off-kilter and left field instrumentally. Chad's bringing the heat on this one truly and surely. And Brent Fiyaz, this new crossover with Tyler, the Creator, Gravity, I think is a bit of an alternative R&B, somewhat psychedelic and subversive anthem. And the Tyler inclusion is short and sweet, but brings some nice contrast to the song. But really the star of the show is Brent's lead vocals on the track, which again, previously you could never really call me a Brent Fiyaz fan. You really couldn't. You really couldn't. But I was won over by the writing and the somewhat quirky and loose lo-fi-ish production on this new one. Both of those, I think, like went a long way. And, this new one that I definitely want to point out. Do not miss this one. Atarashii Gakko, NAINAINAI, which is this insanely groovy, catchy, the bass is amazing. The gang vocals are incredible. The energy is just like through the roof, and the way they switch from beat to beat to beat, and there's just so many portions of it. There's a nice contrast, and it's so also bare and raw as well. The drums and the bass and the shouty group vocals doing a lot of the work. Listen, it's incredible. You will be wowed by this. Do not miss out on this track for sure, for sure. And finally, I think this is the last one that we are going to have in the list over here. Anna Fox Rochinski, who is now diving into putting out some more solo stuff. She's originally from the band Quilt. And, this is some pretty straightforward, like indie rock, indie balladry. But I love the tune, lead vocals, and the very geometric guitar lines that are laced throughout this track. They give the song quite a bit of spice. I'll say that. They give it some spice, some bite. And that is going to be it for the weekly track roundup, everybody. Thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you got some good recommendations out of this one. Again, links to stuff that I talked about in the video down below. And once more, of course, like rest in peace to Sophie. Rest in peace. And again, I'll catch you guys again very soon. Very soon. All right. Forever.